Okay, so let's talk about Chapter 4 assignments. Okay, question 1 reads, a new catalog company needs your advice to put together an internet use policy. The company wants to avoid personal, organizational, and legal issues associated with the internet. Write a one-page memo with recommendations in order of priority. Now, my assumption is that you know how to write a memo. On occasion, a student may not be very familiar, but that's something you should have been able to look up Google very quickly and see what an appropriate memo format would be. Okay, so what kinds of things could you, it's a catalog company, right? So obviously they're going to have, they're going to be describing items for sale. And since we're talking about internet use, we're probably talking about them setting up a website for their customers. Okay, so what kind of issues might be associated? Well, one thing you might want to do is clearly state customer privacy policies on the corporate website. Let them know what you will and will not do with the information that they provide you. A second item might be that you will alert your customers to the use of cookies on the corporate website and offer them an opportunity to opt out, to decline the use of cookies. Third, you might want to implement an acceptable use policy for employees. So now we're not focused on customers so much as employees and what they can use the internet for and what's an appropriate use of the internet in the business context. When you're building that website, you may want to specify that descriptions of products and services will be accurate and non-biased. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with having marketing materials online, but generally speaking, when you're describing your products, you want to be very clear about specifications. You may want to approve posts, in fact require management to approve posts to social networking sites prior to them being released. There have been instances where employees using a corporate associated Twitter account or Facebook account posted inflammatory comments that in the long run hurt the company. And so you may want to control that. Now, these are just 5 suggestions. You could go much further than that. This is just to give you an idea of policies that you may want to implement. They are in a prioritized order. These first 2 that are highlighted in blue actually are required by law. If you're going to have a business website, you need to at least have a link where you'll describe what your privacy policies are that customers can find. Frequently it's not going to be explicitly on the front page, but at the very bottom of the page you'll find a link about our privacy policy or something like that, so that the customer can get that information. And also, if cookies are being used, generally speaking, customers have to be alerted to the use of cookies. Okay, so those are by law. The last 3 highlighted in blue here are good management practices, but not necessarily required by law, and that's why I've moved them down in terms of priority. You can make arguments as to whether the acceptable use policy should be 3rd. Perhaps you might argue that, well, management needs to approve posts is a higher priority. As long as you have reasonable prioritization of the items that you list in your memo, you should be fine. Question 2 reads, read case study 2, privacy and other legal issues at Google, and then do some additional research on Google's Street View and book services. Write a few paragraphs answering the 3 questions at the end of the case and include some additional information from your research. Be sure to cite whatever sources you use outside of the textbook. Okay, so here's a demonstration of Street View, and I'll just go ahead and key in an address. How about 1 University Place, Murfreesboro, North Carolina 27855. Good old Chowan. And we see here we have a map, and I can actually click on the map and I've gone to this is Chowan College Drive, and then I can go to Street View here. And you see we're actually kind of behind. I want to rotate the view. There we go, and we're going down little Chowan College Road here. Okay, I'm sure you've seen something along these lines. I can keep going. I can just fast forward, so to speak, to here. Into there. Okay, and if I look to my left, I'll rotate the view over here to the left, and you know, we're taking a look at there's good old Parker. Okay, in fact, right here, there's somebody. Okay, those three questions were these. What are some business applications of Google Maps Street View? So in answering this question, hopefully you went through and you talked, business applications, obviously in terms of, let's talk about GPS applications. Those of us who have GPSs, most of them are using the maps, but would Street View be useful there? And of course it would be. It could be that as you're approaching your destination, rather than simply having a map on your GPS, it would actually bring up a photographic record of what you're looking for. Okay, so obviously you could have a business application there. Street View. You can also perhaps with, again, keying on GPS coordinate information, giving you information of restaurants. Perhaps you could, you click on the restaurant ad, it'll show you a map. If you go to Street View, it actually show you from your location what it would look like to approach that business. So there can be several applications there, and hopefully you came up with some others. Number two, how has Google Maps Street View created privacy and other legal issues? And you saw in the case where Google inadvertently had tapped into private citizens' Wi-Fi networks in Germany, but we can assume that that also probably happened elsewhere. There also have been instances where the Google van that's driving around and just randomly taking pictures inadvertently caught an event or an unflattering image of a person, and Google has been sued as a result once those people learned of these kinds of things happening. The third question is, what is Google Books and how has it created copyright protection and other legal issues? Okay, so let's take a look at Google Books. And we can just go here and we could research a topic. Any topic will do. How about telecommuting? Okay, and we have a series of books over here on the left. Law of Telecommuting, Telecommuting by Aldib and Manoli, copyright 1995. They're giving a snippet view. Snippet view means they don't have the entire book, they're just giving you a little bit of information. Of course, they're kind of hoping that you can go online and purchase the book. We'll just click this one, Managing Teleworkers and Telecommuting Strategies. And this is a book, copyright 2003, and you can preview it. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And we see here's the, an image of the book. And this is a preview. They are going to limit total number of pages. Okay, but the book has been scanned. And you can get some information from this. Notice that telecommuting here is highlighted. That's just because that was my search term. Okay. So you have a basic idea of what Google Books is all about. In your research, hopefully you came across the concept of orphan books, and an orphan book is a book that has a copyright on it, was published by a publisher, and then the publisher, for whatever reason, decides to pull that book from publication. Sometimes the rights to the book revert back to the author. Google, their mission statement talks about how they want to provide universal access to all of man's knowledge and information, all of mankind's knowledge and information. And they see these books that are kind of retired as fair game. Okay, and they've run into problems with that.